All right, so welcome to a little demo on using Pinterest for news. And this might seem weird to you, especially if you're a heavy Pinterest user, which I know there's some of you out there, because we don't normally think of Pinterest as a news outlet. Instead, we think of it as a place to share recipes or fashion or who knows what, but probably not news. The reason I'm using this for the class is I want all of you to be the type of journalist who thinks about how to use things in different ways. Remember, Facebook and Twitter were not set up and invented as news sources. However, people just got creative with it and realized that there is a potential there to share news. That being said, there are news sources on Pinterest, and so it's not like this is completely out of left field. So what you need to do is get the credentials from Canvas on logging in, go to pinterest.com, and just log in. Once you do, you will see a bunch of pins from people that we follow. So we're following a lot of Pinterest users, and we get to see their content. To see our own content, you just click on that little bar at the top that says Social and click on Your Profile and Pins. When you do that, you're going to see all of our pins, all of our boards out there. And these were all created by students in past semesters. And so I want you to go through and really look those over and see how the students did it. One of the best ways to learn is to just follow what others have done. And so read the captions they put on there, get a good feel for what goes into what board, that kind of thing. Once you're comfortable, you can go through and delete any old boards that are just not applicable anymore. So perhaps they're tied to an event that is gone and there's no reason to still have the pins out there. However, I do caution that you be very careful deleting boards or pins because somebody in your class may have spent a lot of time building that board and suddenly it's gone. So before you delete something, unless it's really, really obvious, then go to the Facebook group for Social NN and just give everybody a heads up and wait until your next shift to do it so that we don't hurt any feelings. And so we just have one Pinterest account for news, sports, and entertainment. This is the only social platform where that's true on Social NN. All the other ones have separate channels. The reason for that is several people could be working on this at once, and there's different boards. And so if you're doing sports, obviously you'd spend a lot of time in the sports board during your shift. If you did entertainment, there are clear entertainment boards, and news is the same. So just make sure you're posting in the right places, and you could all work on the same one. Okay, let's say you're ready to actually start pinning. And so you just go to that little plus sign up there at the top of the page. And when you click on it, you can see upload a pin from your computer. You could add from the website, from any website. So you just have to have a URL to do that. You can create a new board right from there. But what I think is important is to get that pin it button stuck onto your browser. So click on the pin it button. When you do that, just scroll down to install now. Now you can use Pinterest's mobile app as well, which works pretty well. But if you're working on a desktop, you would want to install that pin it button onto your browser. And then from there, it's super easy to pin things around the web. You would just be searching through all your sources that you like to read, whether it's the Huffington Post or BuzzFeed or New York Times. And when you're on an article that you want to pin, you would just click on pin it. And from there, you can add some information, and you can make sure it goes on the right board. You can make sure it has the right photo attached. And I do want you guys adding information to your pins. This is part of the journalistic side of this, is I want you to write really good captions, and I want you to credit people every chance you get. And so if it is from the New York Times, make it very, very clear in your caption that the photo came from the New York Times, and make sure you write a nice caption that will pull people in. Okay, so during your shift, you're going to also want to interact with others, and this is also how you could find content. And so the little search window up at the top, you could search for various things. You could also just Google around to try to find news organizations using Pinterest and then follow their boards. You can also, when you find a good pin that you want to share, like this one right here, you can heart it. You can also repin it. So where it says pin it, you just click on that. You can put it in your own board, any board you want. You could add your own description to it. You could also post it out to Twitter, but we don't have it set up that way, so don't do that. And then you can pin it right there. And so your job would be partly going out and finding great information, partly repinning things that you find that's interesting. It would be liking posts. You should comment on people's posts. That's good interaction. And that's pretty much it. I want you to explore Pinterest fully, get a real comfortable sense of what you can do on there and what is possible, and stretch those boundaries and make it feel like a news source.